the most underrated webcams ever. I'm going over them in this video. One of them you might expect. I'm just going to reveal it to you right now. It is the Logitech Brio. You're going to be looking at it, looking at me on it. How about right now? Here's the Logitech Brio. As you can see, it's a raw shot from the Logitech Brio at about arm's length away. And also, I'm going to be showing you the other webcam that I think is absolutely phenomenal and underrated, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it, which is this one. The AverMedia PW513. If you want to buy this, just click the link and you'll know where to purchase. But this one's about arm's length away, and as you can see, there's already a quality difference between these two. There's also a mystery webcam that I'm going to be going over today. This one, and I'm going to tell you what this webcam is that you're looking at me right now on a little bit later in the stream, because it's unexpected and I don't want you to be too surprised by this one that I'm revealing to you guys. I'm trying to show you the best possible production quality that you can get with a webcam in 2021. You don't want to waste your money on something that's not going to get you up to par. Not to mention, on top of all of these webcams, guys, I've got every other freaking webcam on the planet we're going to talk about. The box is green here, but it's the 922X. I've even got over here the Logitech C29E, and I've got like 4 other webcams that I'm going to be showing you in the stream today to help you narrow down your selection on what your webcam should be to only the best. That's our objective today, okay? I think we can do this. Let's pay the bills, and then I'll be right back with all of those webcams. This video is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io? All right, the first one I want to talk with you guys about, and I'm dropping the link below, is the Logitech Brio. So a lot of people out there are looking to buy a high quality webcam. Logitech is the biggest name in the game right now, and they're just searching for it on Amazon, for example, and trying to find whatever the best selection may be. At the end of the day, you need to look at them with your own eyes and understand the software side of your webcam before you actually make your selection. So what do I mean by that? So the Logitech Brio, and I've got it right here, big on the screen, and it physically in my hand, just to give you a sense of scale. This is how big this webcam is. And you can actually take the base off of it. You see the base right below the Brio here. You can actually take the base off of it, and you can mount it on any number of webcam mounts or tripods. I've currently got mine on top of my screen right in front of me, but it's actually a teeny tiny webcam. And so this webcam actually goes up to 4K video, which is really, really cool. And it does 1080p 60 FPS, which gives it really nice flexibility in my opinion. And I think that overall, it's the second best webcam on planet Earth right now. I've recommended this to hundreds of my clients who have been satisfied with it, and it's so light and tiny, and you can pop the base off of it. It actually makes for a great camera that you could put behind you for an alternate shot or on top of you for a top-down shot because of the 90-degree angle lens on this thing, the glass lens on this camera. So just go ahead and take a look at it with me right now, and here it is. Here's the shot. As you can see, that's ultra wide angle, right? You see how wide the angle is? I'm only at arm's length away. It shows so much of the space behind me with that glass lens. And this is something that you guys should be considering. You can bring this camera even closer to yourself. I can get even closer like this. And as you can see, the detail significantly increases when I get closer to the camera, which is nice. But a huge consideration, if you only pay attention to one thing that I tell you during this live stream, it's that you have to have a software-based solution to go along with the hardware, okay? So if you want your Brio to look great, or you want any other webcam that you're purchasing to look great, you need to research whether that particular webcam has a piece of software that you can control it with. So let me attempt, this is a very technically complicated stream, okay? I'm gonna show you the Logitech Brio software while I have the Brio going in real time. Let's see if it worked. I set the scene up. Yes, it worked. All right, beautiful. So here is the software for the Logitech Brio right here. And I'm gonna adjust it in real time so you can see the effect on the camera in a moment. But this software allows you to change every single setting that you could imagine with the camera, all built in, and this comes for free with the actual camera. So you can change the zoom, the focus, the exposure on the camera, even the field of view. I'll show you how all of this looks. And you can add video filters here within the software that apply to every version of the Logitech Brio that you end up doing along the way. And so what this can do for you is make it so that whether you're on a Zoom call, whether you're in OBS, whether you're in XSplit, whether you're recording a webinar, whether you're doing your podcast, your settings are always the same across all of those, and you can change them kind of universally across the board for everything. G-Hub software makes that possible for every Logitech webcam, but the Brio in particular has the most settings, namely because of the field of view settings over there that you see. I wanted to show you the software first so that you can actually see what it is, because I'm going to actually manipulate it in real time so you can see the impact on the image with the Brio, okay? This camera is way underrated, and I think it's actually underpriced. You might be thinking that I'm crazy for saying that. You might think that, I don't know, maybe I'm surprising you with that one. I think it's actually underpriced for the quality and the control that you get with this camera. So let me go to the Brio itself, and I'm going to show you what adjusting these settings in real time actually looks like and the sort of impact that can have on you. So, for example, you can do digital zoom like this. So you can digitally zoom in and punch in on one part of the image if you want at any time. Generally speaking, though, you're going to want to keep it wide like this so that you can capture the entire space, and then in your broadcast, you can crop in a part. But also the software has a field of view function. So the Brio has a 90-degree field of view because of the glass lens on the Brio, right? And so what does that mean? Right now I'm at 90 degrees. If I go to 78, it punches in tighter. Maybe that's what you want to look like on your Zoom call. Maybe that's what you want to look like permanently all the time. Could get rid of a bunch of junk in the background. The Brio makes that possible. And then you can also even do tighter than that, 65-degree angle on the lens, and it just punches it in even further. You see how this shot's a little cleaner? If I move the camera up, it would actually be close to the shot I might want for all of my broadcasts. Now, another thing to keep in mind, exposure is a huge, huge, huge pain in the butt when it comes to webcams. Seriously, when it comes to webcams, it's a huge pain in the butt. And so what the software, I currently have exposure on auto. Watch what happens when I turn it off. So your exposure, a lot of webcams, you plug them in and they look like this. They look like crap. They're overexposed and there's nothing you can do about it. But the Logitech G-Hub software allows you to, and I'm controlling this in real time as you see, bring the exposure down to the right level so it actually looks proper for your shot, which is really cool. It also has HDR. I turn HDR off, I turn it on. Doesn't seem to make much of a difference. The last thing I want to tell you about is if you want to change your brightness, make your shot a little brighter like this, add a little contrast if you want to, add a little sharpness. You can do all of that. And it's got auto white balance. You see how the white balance is off in my shot right now? But the auto white balance makes it so that the white balance on this particular camera, the Logitech Brio, is spot on with auto. This has been the camera I have recommended to the most people over the years. Over $150,000 worth of this camera have actually been sold through me recommending it to people over time. Logitech doesn't pay me any money to talk about their camera. I just freaking love it. So Logitech Brio is the first underrated webcam that we're going to talk about today. And the second underrated webcam that we're going to talk about today is... Let me pull up the image on the screen. Drum roll, please. I'm just going to cut to it right now. It is the AverMedia PW513. You're looking at me through this camera right now. So this webcam, in my opinion, is my favorite true webcam on the market. This is it. This is the box for it right here. It is just a gorgeous freaking camera. The AverMedia PW513. Nothing is better than this in terms of webcam. However, it is one of the most expensive webcams on the market. And so that is a huge disadvantage of this webcam versus others. But let me just say this. If you're going to compare a webcam like this to the quality that you're getting through other webcams, it's not even comparable. And I think that the bar today in terms of production quality is too high, in my opinion, for people to buy, let's say, the Logitech C920. This is my original Logitech C920 that I bought 8 years ago or so. I started as a full-time live streamer a long time ago with this one. It's a great webcam. It is a solid webcam. But at the end of the day, when COVID-19 hit, everybody ended up buying webcams. And most people bought cheap webcams. And those cheap webcams look cheap. They don't look that good. And so the quality bar, because of COVID-19 and everybody buying equipment, the quality bar in terms of content went from like a 2 out of 10 up to a 5 out of 10 instantly when everybody bought cheap webcams. Now that's par or below par with cheap or older webcams. The same thing is the case even for higher end and newer webcams like this one. By the way, you're looking at me through the AverMedia PW513 right now. Like the Logitech C922 Pro web stream cam. This is it right here. It's the 922X. Very, very similar to the Logitech C920. Very, very similar, a little bit higher quality and extra features. But at the end of the day, webcams like this don't even come close to the quality of an AverMedia PW513. And the same thing is also the case even with kind of business branded webcams or other ones with extra features. For example, I also own the Logitech C925E, this little guy right here. It's got a cool looking design. It says it's for business. It's got a built-in shutter. As you can see right here, you can shutter the webcam. It looks good, but it doesn't look great because this is now par for the course. Webcams like this, the kind of mid-tier webcams like this are now par for the course. If you want to impress people, if you want to look good in that interview, if you want to look good in that podcast, if you want to look good on your YouTube channel, you need to at least be reaching Logitech Brio or AverMedia PW513 levels. Another example that people shop for right now is this one right here. This is the Logitech C930E. It's this little guy. It's got the silver face on it. And it's very, very similar to the Logitech C920 webcam. It's got good quality for the money, but it's still not, it's barely par for the course. It's barely par for the course. All these kind of 1080p webcams are kind of barely meeting the bare minimum requirements that are required in production today. And the last one I'd kind of share with you, this was maybe the best-selling webcam of all time. I'm going to be doing test videos on my channels for this, but this is the Logitech C270 webcam. It's this little guy, this classic. This one stepped webcams up from back in the day, from like garbage to pretty great. It's a 720p little teeny tiny webcam, still got decent quality, but once again, the bar has been raised so high in terms of production quality across the board that webcams like this, I don't think meet the mark anymore. I don't think they meet the mark anymore. And people just kind of search for whatever the camera is and they just buy whatever. Okay, so let's talk about the AverMedia PW513, the one that you've been looking at me through this entire time. This guy right here, why is it so good? Part of the reason why is the 94-degree angle lens that you see right here, and also the smooth motion. You see the smooth 60 frames per second motion that you're getting here? Really nice. You can get that with the 1080p resolution with this one. And if you bump this camera up to 4K, then the camera gives you only 30 frames per second. One thing to consider. But let's take a look at the design of the camera really quick, because this is something that you should consider with the AverMedia PW513. It's got a feature that seems kind of boring or dumb, but it's like the best feature ever on a webcam. And it's this little swivel mount in the middle of the camera right here, the little neck, if you will, on the camera, this little guy right here. It allows you to swivel the camera up and down, left and right, and what have you, depending on how you want to position it. And I'm sure you guys have experienced, you try putting, your webcam on top of your monitor, you try to get it just right and point it right at you, and the camera shot's moving freaking everywhere, and it's a pain. Well, this camera has the swivel mount in the middle of it that allows you to get it into the perfect position if you put it on top of your monitor, or if you put it into a webcam mount. Probably the best feature of the camera. Other than that, of course, the best feature of the camera is this superior image that it provides. This is the best looking webcam ever. This is a webcam. If I started this particular video, this particular stream, and I told you that you were looking at right now a DSLR camera, I bet most of you guys would believe me right now. You'd be like, "Yep, I hear you. It looks like a DSLR to me," but it's a webcam. So that's the most impressive thing about the PW513 is how its quality is DSLR-like. But remember what I told you earlier. Don't buy a webcam unless it has software to go along with it so that you can control all of the settings in it, okay? So let's let's go over to that right now. So let's see if this works. I set this up ahead of time. It works. Perfect. So this is the Cam Engine software, and I'll use it in real time in just a minute. But this is the software that comes with the AverMedia PW513, where you can adjust the brightness, as you can see, the contrast, the hue, the saturation. Also, it's got various effects that you can apply, filters, you name it, on board with the camera. And it's got advanced settings here on this, where you can even pan and tilt it if you want, do anti-flicker. It's got backlight compensation, you name it. Once again, with this camera, with the AverMedia PW513, you want all of the control over the settings of your camera. You don't want to plug a camera in and just have it look like whatever, because it will look like hot garbage. You guys know that. I'm sure many of you guys that have just bought a generic webcam or one that had like good reviews, and then you plugged it in and you're like, yeah, but what do I do to make it look better? The answer is nothing. You can do nothing to make it look better. That's the issue with webcams that don't have software that comes with it, okay? So let me show you the impact of how the software can change your image. So when I use the software here, this is the default look. I think the default look is kind of too bright with this camera. So what I like to do, and this is the advantage of having a software that can change all these settings, you drop the brightness down a little bit. Now it doesn't look too bright, right? And I also think it looks a little oversaturated. You can drop the saturation down and now it looks pretty natural. If you wanted to though, and you preferred a more contrasty look, you could crank the contrast and look like the way I do right now, where the blacks in the shot look super black. You can also do any number of other things you'd like to do with the camera. One other thing that you can look at, remember I told you pan and tilt? So you can tilt the camera, you can pan the camera, you name it, left and right. You can do anything you want here, and you can even digitally zoom it as you see fit, which is really, really neat. So all of that's possible, plus filters, with the AverMedia PW513. This is my #1 recommended webcam right now. It's literally the best webcam on the market, but it is quite expensive compared to all of these like plethora army of webcams I just showed you a moment ago. But I promised you guys that I would have a, I guess we'll call it a bonus webcam, if you will, for the episode, a secret webcam that I would tell you guys about in this episode. And it's this one right here, the one that you're looking at me on right now. Pretty good for a webcam, right? Pretty amazing for a webcam, I would say. And so this is your bonus tip, because this is, I think, the best budget option if you're looking to get like maximum quality video for your dollar. And this is not something that you guys are going to be expecting. Or let me play the mystery music. Did it play? Yeah, there's your mystery music. What webcam is he talking about? And the webcam, the webcam I'm talking about, of course, is the Panasonic Lumix G7 DSLR camera. That's what I will film all of my videos on. This is a budget, super budget webcam or webcam option, and it gives you literally DSLR quality, but you can use it as a webcam. I mean, I've got this plugged into my computer right now. I'm live streaming on it. I record all my videos on it. I use it for Zoom calls and coaching calls using this device, of course. You guys have probably heard of it, the Cam Link. For those of you guys that haven't heard what the concept is, here's the basics, right? So in this camera right behind me, I'll disappear. There's a little slot over here in the side of the Panasonic Lumix. You pop that slot open, and there's somewhere you can plug in an HDMI video cable into the side of this DSLR. Once again, this is a budget DSLR. This is not a multi-$1,000 camera. It is a relatively inexpensive camera, but it has a glass lens with zoom and autofocus and all those premium features you get from a DSLR. You take the video cable out on this camera, then you plug it into the HDMI slot on this Cam Link, you pop that in your computer, and all of a sudden, you can look this good. I'm on a green screen right now. Do you see how this is live recorded? Perfect green screen effect with this DSLR camera. This is live, not edited at all, right? Perfect green screen effect through what is essentially a budget DSLR that you're turning into a webcam. This is the bonus option I wanted to share with you guys today, because it is affordable for most people. It's affordable for most people that are looking, to maybe save a little bit of extra money and go up to that extra tier without spending thousands of dollars on a solution to look good. And so this is something that I really wanted to emphasize for you guys today and to share with you today. These are the 3 most underrated options in terms of webcam on the market. I do not personally recommend going below the level of quality that either the Panasonic Lumix G7, which you can turn into a webcam, the AverMedia PW513, or the Logitech Brio provide you in 2021. I'm sorry, I just have, I have very strong feelings about this. I've done side-by-side tests. I've watched the industry blow up over the last 10 years. I've been doing this full time for 10 years. I've been creating content for 12 years. And the bottom line is that these 1080p webcams, this is my OG webcam, these 1080p webcams don't cut it anymore. They don't cut it anymore. They are not high quality enough anymore. And there will be YouTubers and influencers and everybody out there that's going to tell you that all you need is a cheap webcam. It's all about your content. I just totally disagree. Nobody's going to watch your content if they can't stand listening to you, if they can't stand watching you, and if they just tune into the video and it just looks low quality, they're going to click away. It's going to significantly decrease your performance as a creator if you don't have a bar. You're not at least par for the course in terms of your quality. And so this level of quality you're seeing right here with the Logitech Brio, I think this is good enough quality for people to stick around and watch and listen. They might even say, you look pretty good. Going up to the PW513, they see this, they'll go, wow, you look really good. That's the PW513. And then if you go up to even just a budget, lower cost DSLR camera like this, they'll go, wow, how did you do that? Is the response I get all the time on calls, on podcasts, on what have you, from people that are shopping. But if you just feed them a 1080p webcam feed from, a lower end or even mid-tier webcam, you won't have any impact on your audience. And if the quality is somewhat lower, you don't have the right lighting, or you haven't picked out a camera that you can't adjust the settings for, then people are just going to straight up leave your content. And what are the top 2 things that every single algorithm on every single platform that has an algorithm wants? They want you to click. They want you to get people to click the content. And then they want you to retain viewers once they click the content. And so it doesn't matter how good your thumbnail or your title or your concept is for your content. If they tune in and your video is not up to par, they're just going to leave. And it's going to hold your performance back. So if you're thinking about buying one of the lower end webcams or the mid-tier webcams, my advice to you is to save your money and spend the couple $100 or whatever it may be, wherever you're at, on getting one of these high-end webcams I just told you about. And if you can save just a little bit more money than that, getting a budget DSLR is the point of diminishing returns, in my opinion, in terms of quality. I don't recommend any of my clients blow it out with multi-$1,000 cameras right now. I just don't. By the time the video gets compressed, it goes through your live stream into the recording. Look, the multi-$1,000 cameras look better, that's for sure, than any of the options I showed you. The Logitech Brio or the PW513. Sure, they look better than that, but they don't look so much better that it's going to massively increase your business or your viewership or what have you, okay? We're not at that point yet in the market. And as each day passes, you're looking at the AverMedia PW513 right now. As each day passes, what you're looking at right now, this high-end webcam, will become par for the course. And then eventually, 2 years from now, this will become below par because so many people will now have DSLRs in the next level. So it is a production arms race. Now that there are tens of millions, hundreds of millions globally creating content on the internet each and every day. I just wanted to keep it real with you. I don't want to just tell you, look, you can buy a cheap webcam and make your content and people will watch as long as the content's good. I don't think that's true. Look, if the content is fire and you're a 1 in a million personality, a 1 in 100,000 personality, and you're just a freaking genius, you know what? Maybe so. But for the vast majority of you guys out there watching this, that's not the case. And you need to have that at least par per level production quality to make it. I'm just keeping it real with you, okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to tell you, look, little Johnny, you can make a house made out of straw and it'll last forever. Now I'm telling you, your house needs to be made out of at least wood. And I'm telling you, maybe you should invest in some bricks, okay? Three little pigs analogy for you there, okay? Thank you so much for watching. These are the most underrated webcams. I hope you got some value out of this. I'm just trying to keep it real when it comes to these tech videos. I don't want to sugarcoat it at all. This is the way it is. This is the way I see it. I work with people every single day, one-on-one, from multimillionaire CEOs, multi-million-dollar webinars, top creators, down to people that are just getting started. This is the way I see the webcam scene right now. This is where I see it going. So invest in the future with either a Brio or a PW513, or get a budget DSLR, and you will start future-proofing your setup so that you don't have to buy something and then eventually reinvest later when you realize that your cheaper webcam doesn't cut it anymore. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy shopping. You know where to click. Adios.